Welcome to BIMS TV. I'm Keiko Wilkins, and this is BIMS Bites. And today I will be biting into coral reef reproduction. Coral reef ecosystems are some of the most diverse ecosystems in the world. They provide homes and food for fish and many other marine organisms. They also provide many resources to humans. They provide coastal protection and livelihoods for millions of people around the planet. Protecting these ecosystems and keeping them healthy is of key importance. In order for corals to continue persisting within coral reef ecosystems, corals must reproduce and recruit. Reproduction involves the making of new individuals, and recruitment is the successful joining of these new individuals to the reef ecosystem. On a coral reef, you will often see many coral colonies. If you look very closely at a specific colony, you might see something like the picture on the left. Here we have a small piece of a lobe coral. You can see that it has a fuzzy appearance with structures that look almost like hairs sticking up from the coral. These tiny structures are tentacles at the top of the coral polyps used to collect plankton and other particles floating in the water. Each coral is composed of many of these polyps. And on the right, we can see other components of them. The tentacles are composed of several different layers. They contain nematocysts, or stinging cells, which are used for capturing prey. They also have a mucus layer that's used for protection against UV, microbes, and other stressors, as well as symbiodinium, their algae which provide nutrients for the coral. A coral polyp also contains a mouth and a gut cavity known as a coelenteron. Each of these coral polyps are then connected to each other by a cenosarc on top of a calcium carbonate coral skeleton. Now, there are thousands of species of coral that have been found so far, with many more likely waiting to be discovered. Coral come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors with very diverse ways of reproducing. A single species may reproduce in several different ways. Generally, corals are able to reproduce both asexually and sexually. Asexual reproduction means that a single coral colony will form new colonies that are genetically identical to the parent colony. There are several different ways this can occur. One way is through budding, where a new colony can form when one polyp divides into two polyps, or when a new mouth with tentacles forms between polyps, as seen in this picture. The polyps or buds will become detached to form a new coral colony. Additionally, polyp bailout is another way asexual reproduction can occur. This involves individual polyps separating to form the beginning of a new coral colony. In this picture, you can see the white calcium carbonate skeleton with some brown polyps, and in some places, the skeleton is bare where the polyps have left. The second type of reproduction some coral use is sexual reproduction, which involves the combination of gametes, the egg and sperm, to form new individuals. Corals can be gonochoric or dioecious, which means that they have separate male and female individuals. Additionally, corals can also be hermaphroditic, which means a single coral can produce both egg and sperm. Now, these two characteristics of corals are not mutually exclusive. Coral colonies of the same species can be both male or female, while others are hermaphrodites. Within these sexually reproducing corals, there are brooding corals and there are spawning corals, which both ultimately produce larvae known as Planula larvae. Brooding corals fertilize eggs within their coral polyps and then release fully developed Planula larvae into the ocean. These Planula larvae are immediately ready to settle and begin developing. On the other hand, spawning corals produce egg and sperm bundles, which are then released into the ocean to be fertilized and developed into Planula larvae at sea. After coral Planula larvae are successfully produced, they will select specific sites that seem to be suitable for settling and developing into a primary polyp of a new coral colony that looks like this. This process of selection is believed to be informed by important chemical cues that signal good areas for settlement. Now, reproduction is not always a success. There are many factors, including ocean pollution, which may prevent gametes from successfully being fertilized or cause stress to the parent corals, reducing their ability to reproduce. Additionally, no matter the way in which new individuals are created, they cannot become a part of the population until they successfully recruit. Understanding how local and global stressors are impacting corals is important to keeping our reefs healthy and persisting. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me by email at keikow2@hawaii.edu or on Twitter or Instagram at aquatic-k2222. Thank you for tuning in. Please follow, like, and subscribe to Black and Marine Science.